and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. And welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. While we're getting everything ready, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Live YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmmyrun and also Twitter at filmmyrun, and the website is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax, don't forget to drop me a ride on and watch me do all the hard work. Hello there, good evening, good evening, good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Film My Run, welcome to the Zwift Live channel, and the Film My Run channel on Facebook. And it's going to be a long stream. Bear with me while I just got 1 minute where I should really start moving. Today, I'm going to do 100 miles, he says confidently. I'm going to attempt to do 100 miles. The idea is that we cover every square inch of Watopia in the next 24 hours. So 24 hours, 100 miles, whichever is first. If I've covered all of Watopia, let's start. We're off. I'm actually going to start moving. If I've covered all of Watopia in and I've done 100 miles before 24 hours, then I'll stop. But if not, I will carry on. The limit is 24 hours. And again, unless I'm really, really close to 100 miles and I haven't got there yet and I need to run for another 20 minutes or something, I'll do that over 24 hours. Ryan Perring says, have I fallen out with Victoria? I'm hoping not, because she needs to supply... Well, actually, to be honest, she doesn't need to supply me with anything, because I can just get off the treadmill, go and get what I want. I need to put heart rate on. We're doing the Uber Pretzel. And also, the other thing to mention is I'm going to try and do it as near as damn it to the elevation profile. So I will be increasing the incline of the treadmill. We are going up the Epic Com. We are going up the Alp Zwift. So they will all be at full elevation. I mean, I'm not going to be changing the elevation every second. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be, like, every single little change, I'm not going to change. But within reason. Oh, hang on a minute. I haven't even set my watch up to do elevation yet. Right, let's just get this heart rate. Sorry. Bear with me. You're going to have to bear with me for 24 hours. Yeah, Ryan says, are you going to use an average percentage per class? Yeah, kind of, you know, if it's... For, like, say for the Alp Zwift, for example, it's going to be around about 10% elevation for the whole thing, isn't it? Or maybe 8 or 9%, I think, for the whole thing. I have got the camera angles on. I'm kind of loosely following. Yeah, Daniel says, how many times will Zwift crash? Yeah, who knows? I'm loosely following the Uber Pretzel route. But I am also using my camera angles, so we'll just have to see how that goes. Buenaventura, yeah, we'll give it a go. I'm sick of everyone else doing 100 miles on Zwift. I always want to be the first to do things, but I'm nowhere near first to do things on this. Right. I've already changed roads. Look, main road. We don't want to go. So the first place we're heading is the Epic Com. So the road just goes out to the Epic Com. Right. Ryan says about 8 to 8.5% average up the Alp. Okay. So I'll probably do that. 8%, 8.5%. Yeah, Simon, I'm going to do the Uber Pretzel and then another 20 miles after that, because the Uber Pretzel's only 79, 80 miles. But I'm going to try and do it with full elevation. So we'll see what happens. I've literally no idea whether I can do this or not, because I've never attempted more than a marathon on a treadmill. It's going to be a mental battle, isn't it, to try and get to the end. So, you know, if I can get to the end, I will. If anything can happen in 100 miles. So, if I don't make it, I don't make it. And, you know, I'm not going to cry about it. But you will see me suffer today, tomorrow, probably, more than anything. You will see me suffering. Simon Funnel says, all the best, be strong. Yeah, I think that's all we can do, isn't it? Is just do the best you can and see where it gets you. So that's what we're going to do. I do need to share the stream out. So it is going to be a little bit kind of, you know, I'm not going to be going quick. Maximum speed. I could walk this at 6.7 kilometers an hour and do 100 miles in 24 hours. That's the average. The average pace has to be 6.7 kilometers per hour for the whole 100 miles in 24 hours. I'm going to go a little bit faster than that, because obviously I'll need to stop to eat food. I might have a shower in the morning, you know, those kind of things. So it's going to have to be a little bit quicker than that, but it's not going to be fast. You're not going to see me doing, you know, anything over 8 or 9 kilometers per hour for the whole run at all. Right, let's share this out now. And there will be long periods when I'm not saying anything at all, when I'm quiet. I'm going to try and play a film every hour. So every hour on the hour, I'll probably take a little 2-minute break and also play one of my running films out. Right, let me just share the stream out. Bear with. So I am watching YouTube chat, I'm watching Facebook chat. I don't expect you to be here for the full 24 hours. Dip in and out occasionally, just say hello, you know, if you can, that'd be great. Neil says good luck, thanks buddy. Share to a page, so it's going to, oh no, not that, share to a group, that's what we want. Share to our Zwift runs. Let's put run. I'm going to put run in inverted commas. It's going to be pretty darn slow, isn't it? Okay, I think we're shared. Right, let's start doing a little bit of running, shall we? So like I say, the average pace needs to be 6.7 kilometers per hour. So I'm going to go at 7 kilometers an hour for the first part of the run and see how that gets me, see how far that gets me. Paul Deering says he's going to keep looking throughout. Thank you, Paul. Laura says, wow. Simon Funnel says, I hope you have a box set lined up on Netflix. I'm going to look at Zwift. I don't need to look anywhere else. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to turn the music down as well, actually. You don't need the music like this loud for the whole time, do you? Let's just turn it down a bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Right. We are officially moving after 10 minutes of walking. And if you... hang on. Com is where we want to go, isn't it? See, I'm already confused about exactly where I'm going. Going to Com, we're going to Ocean Boulevard, and we're out to the Epic Com. The Epic Com is where we're going. Thank you, James Smith. Cheers, buddy. And thank you for the ride on Nagello. So yeah, we're on the Uber Pretzel route today. And I'm going to try and do... Oh, no. I'm going to try and do it kind of at proper elevation. Not for these bits, like 1% I'm not going to do. But I'm going to do the mountains at proper elevation. Jordan Maddox, hello buddy. I will do. And Lee Walters, huge admiration. I haven't done it yet. It says huge admiration. Look, give me huge admiration when I've finished. If I finish, it's going to be a nice steady 24 hours of running. I'm not going to break any sweats here. We're going to be climbing some hills, and we're going to be going a maximum of 7 kilometers an hour. The average pace needs to be 6.7 kilometers per hour with the 24 hours to get 100 miles in, but we've got some climbing to do. Certainly up the Alp Zwift. It's certainly up the Alp Zwift. It's going to be very slow. So I'm going to have to make up time. So it's not all going to be really easy. I am going to have to go a little bit quicker sometimes. So we do need to run around Mayfield at some point, but we're not going to go there. I suppose we could go there now quickly. No, we'll go there later. Darren Evans says you saw a ledge. Yeah, best to check in tomorrow. Tell me I'm a legend when I've finished. Because it's all very well saying you're going to run 100 miles, but to actually doing it is an entirely different thing, especially seeing as it's going to be really warm for the whole thing, and I do not run well in the heat. So if you're just joining me, I am doing 100 miles in 24 hours. I'm going to do it with elevation, so we're going to be climbing some hills, and I'm going to be putting elevation on the treadmill. The full plan, is to cover every square inch of Watopia. Every square inch of Watopia in 24 hours. If I complete 100 miles and the whole of Watopia before 24 hours, then I will stop. And if I haven't completed 100 miles by 24 hours, but I'm close, then I will carry on. So I'd like to make sure I do 100 miles. I'm prepared to accept that I may get so tired that I can't do it in 24 hours. So if I'm close, which I should be, if I'm close, then I'll carry on and make sure I hit 100 miles. Oh, no. See, we've already gone wrong. I've already gone wrong. So let's turn around. Already gone wrong. I've got to keep my eye. I'm not going to be able to keep my eye on this, am I, for the whole time? I won't be able to keep my eyes peeled. I don't know, Aaron. I don't know what it is for 100 miles. For ride-ons, rather. Charlotte Elder says, "Are you actually nuts?" Well, you know I'm nuts. This is no surprise, Charlotte. Ryan has already said camera angles will annoy you very quickly. Ryan, you're absolutely right. I really want to keep the camera angles on, so I'm going to try and keep my eye on it. And the good thing is, the positive thing is that I can always stop, look at the map and work out where I need to be. I know you're right. I think it may well annoy the hell out of me, but I think it would, it'll be a shame if I can't keep the camera angles on, because it does make the stream look more interesting, just rather than just looking at the back of me. It gives you some great views. Jeff Partridge is going to do the 100 at the end of the month with Centurion running. I had already planned to do this before that happened, I don't want to wait another month to do it, because I think they'll start to relax lockdown. Victoria might have to go back to work, so she won't be able to be so available to crew for me if I need her. So I think waiting to the end of the month would have been a bad idea. Jeff Partridge says, how far apart are your aid stations? Aid stations are every hour. So there are 23 aid stations. Every hour, I'm going to put a film on and just nip off if I need to go to the toilet, if I need to just grab a cup of coffee. You know me, I do like my dairy. So I'll be drinking coffee and milk and my protein drink, which is called Huel. So that's what I'll be living on, as well as a little bit of Red Bull here and there. Darren Smith says making 50 look like 36. I've just had a shave as well, so I should really look much more like 36 than I usually do. And it's important to try and keep my heart rate, in zones 1 and 2. Loo, toilet, yeah, whatever. Or John, bathroom, restroom. I'm going to be eating sandwiches. I'm going to be eating pasta. What else have I got in the fridge? I've got some, I think there's a piece of pizza somewhere. Hello, Tanya. I saw your takeaway today. That was a lot of food. Ryan Perring says, coffee, milk, 100 miles. Arc of Attrition all over again. Yeah, I think underfoot might be a little bit different to the Arc of Attrition, though. Jeff Partridge says, proper Centurion spacing for aid stations. Yeah. And Jeff Partridge says he's going for much more of a mud crew approach. So official aid stations 25 miles apart in mud crew. Okay. I think mentally it's going to help me if I know that I've got to stop every hour and I can just grab something quickly and come back onto the treadmill. By the way, don't think I'm staying on this treadmill totally for 24 hours. I am getting off, I'm going to the toilet, I may have a shower, I'll eat food, so I will disappear from here every so often. The plan is simply to get the whole way round Watopia in 24 hours, cover every single square inch. That's all the cycle roads, all the mountains, all the run paths, including the little trail. I'm going to try and do the little trail run as well, all through Titans Grove, all around Fuego Flats, all over to the volcano, through the middle of the volcano at the bottom, through the middle of the volcano at the top, round the Mayfield track, round the beach path track, everywhere that you can think of. If I miss anywhere, there'll be trouble. Nick, I only started at 8 o'clock. I'll be going 20 minutes. Ryan says, make sure you don't cheat using your smart treadmill. No, okay, so what I'll do is I will, when I'm going to get off, I will stop the treadmill, so I won't let it do its minute of going without me on it. Nick Barter says he might come and cycle and find me. Well, you'll be cycling very slowly, Nick. I am not going fast. Tom Chamberlain, good evening from Guernsey. Hello, Tom, how are you? Hope you're getting some running in on those beautiful cliffs of yours. So look, I've done 2 kilometres already. Only 159 kilometres left to go. I am going to bore you senseless every hour with a video of mine. Thanks for the ride on, by the way, whoever that was.
Thanks for giving my dad a ride on.
Thanks, Jeff. Tony Tomlin says, best of luck, Stephen. Thank you, Tony. So hopefully this time tomorrow I will be lying on my bed, falling asleep, or in the bath. One thing I know, one thing that might stop me, if anything's going to stop me, there are 2 possible things. One is stomach problems. So if I eat or drink the wrong things, or if I just drink too much sugary stuff, or, you know, if it gets overly hot and my food and drink doesn't digest, then that might stop me. So gastric issues. But the other thing that might stop me is chafing, because and that's partly why I want to do a lot of this run. I want to do this run at elevation, so at least there are some breaks from the not monotonous flat running. And because I know when I attempted to run along the Thames last year, I got terrible chafing, and I am trying to take as many precautions as possible to make sure that I do not get chafing, or not as much chafing as I can manage anyway. Kira says, well done. Tell me well done tomorrow, Kira, when I've finished. Need to get there first. There's no point in saying I'm going to do 100 miles so confidently and positively and then not doing it. So let's try and just make sure we get it done. Aaron Nolan says, alert the neighbours so they don't call the police. Yeah, I have already told the neighbours that that's what's happening, because actually I do talk pretty loud a lot of the time, and so being in the shed here, having the doors open because it's so warm, my voice does tend to travel quite a long way, and I'm sure the neighbours 2 or 3 along can hear me when I'm doing my usual weeknight runs.
Ride on!
Richter, thanks for your ride on. And Dagan as well, thank you. Dejan Dagan, I think that's your name, isn't it? Been overtaken by Alvarez from Spain. I'm not racing him. I'm not going to race him. No, that neighbour I don't need to talk to, because he doesn't live there. That is his shop. It's a car auto spares repair shop, and obviously he's been closed for the past few weeks. And that caravan there he uses to store a lot of his stuff. So I don't need to worry about that side. It's just the other side. Kira says, positive mental attitude, you've got this. Yeah. Well, I come into it saying I'm going to do 100 miles. I am going to do 100 miles. I'm positive I can. I've done it plenty of times before, although never on a treadmill. So I know I can run 100 miles. I know I can run 100 miles in under 24 hours. But it's just a case of getting it done and making sure that nothing disastrous happens along the way. You know, even on a treadmill going this slow, I can get injured. I could get a repetitive strain kind of injury, couldn't I? From doing the same movement all the time. You know, there are 101 things that could happen. Rob Harrison, the plan is 24 hours. So I'll say it again, I'm going to keep repeating it for people because I know people will join the stream, you know, on and off throughout the next 24 hours. The plan is to run every square inch of Watopia and cover 100 miles and do it in under 24 hours. If I get to 100 miles and I've covered all of Watopia under 24 hours, then I'll stop. If I haven't completed 100 miles, or if I haven't covered all of Watopia in 24 hours, then I'll carry on if I'm close. If I've slowed down so much that I've got ages and like miles still to do, after 24 hours I might call it a day, and I'll just call it a 24-hour run on Zwift. But hopefully I can get to 100 miles. Sam, no, Watopia isn't 100 miles. There is not 100 miles of road. Oh look, there's the blue whale there. There's not 100 miles of road. There is, I don't know how many miles of road there are, but even the longest route there is called the Uber Pretzel, which is what I'm doing now. And that's 79 miles, but even that involves doubling back on some of the roads. So I'm going to do the Uber Pretzel as long as I can manage to keep on the right road. And we'll see where we get to. No, I don't think it is, Ryan. Honestly. Because, like I said, if you do the Uber Pretzel, that's 79 miles. The Uber Pretzel, the only things that the Uber Pretzel doesn't include is the run path, which is 10k, and the track, which is 400 meters, and Titans Grove, and also the little trail run. So it's probably getting close. Actually, it probably is getting close to 100 miles, to be fair. Although, yeah, having said that, yeah, the Uber Pretzel, you do repeat some bits. Yes. You've just said exactly what I've said, Ryan. Yeah, I have looked it up. You know, I have checked this all out. So as long as I do all of the Uber Pretzel, then all I need to do are the run paths and Titans Grove and the little trail run on Titans Grove. And that should be everything. And I might be, don't know, I'm guessing that I might be the only person to have done that. Because I know that I did check out Adam's run from a few weeks ago, Adam Holland, and Adam didn't do the run paths. Although he did the track and he did Titans Grove, he didn't do the run paths and he didn't do the trail run section. So he did miss some bits out. Rob Harrison's going to try and join me for 100 for some of it tomorrow. Tom Bunt says, "Do you get a buckle for this 100 miler?" Yes, in my own tiny mind, I get my own little buckle of pride. And Ryan says he might join me for a little bit as well. Sam says he'll look in later. Thank you, Sam. Cheers, buddy.
Ride on!
Crazy Canuck, thanks for the ride on. And I can, to double check that I am still on the right route, I can always press this. And it says, the route that I'm on is Uber Pretzel. Now that is taken directly from the log file. So if I change route, if I go off route, the log file will update with a new route, and that will be reflected on that screen. So I can always check whether I am on the right route, and if I'm not, I can go back and turn around and put myself on the right route. Lizzie Bradford says, hats off to you. Andy Gribben says, can we join you for a section? Of course you can, anytime you want to. By all means, come and just run alongside me. I'm not going to be going fast. I am sticking to around about 7 kilometers an hour for the whole 24 hours, but I'll be slowing down to climb up the mountains. So we're headed to the Epic Com. So we're turning left now. Elapsed time. So it's 8 o'clock tonight to 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Oh, Tom White says, how many miles are you in? Literally 3 kilometers. I started at 8 p.m, so I've been going half an hour. So I'm starting now, and I will be finishing at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So I have a break in half an hour, and I already need to go to the toilet. Nick Onslow says we are all actually mental. Yeah, that is right. Yes, my pace will need tinkering, Ryan. And also because I'll be going uphill, so I'll be slowing down to a walk to climb the mountains. Especially Alp the Zwift. Alp the Zwift is going to take me 3 hours to climb, probably. So, because I'll be literally walking most of it. Or all of it, in fact. Andy Griven says, we'll join you for a section in the morning. Thank you. Andy, that'd be good. Mark Johnson says, not sure that you're carrying the mandatory kit. Damn it. Do you know what? I knew... Why didn't they give me my number as well? It did confuse me when I got to kit check and I wasn't given my number. And that'll be why. Not carrying anything. EpicCom average is 4%, says Ryan. Thank you. I'll stick it on 4% then. Tom White says, go on, fella, it's all about the mind. You've got it, anything is possible. So, Tom, yeah, it is going to be a mental thing. I've never done 100 miles on the treadmill of it. I've done 100 miles 6 or 7 times before. I can't remember. Is it 7 or 6? How many 100 milers have I done? 6 or 7, I can't remember. But never on a treadmill. So it is going to be a test of mental endurance, really, getting through. We'll see how it goes. So there you can see the treadmill at 7. No elevation at the moment. Certainly after 50 miles, Tom, it's 99% mental. If you're just turning on and wondering what the hell it is you're watching, this is Zwift. So it's an online game where you run in a virtual world. And I've been using this for 5 years now, cycling and running. Although in the past 2.5, 3 years, it's been pretty much all running. But it's fairly easy, as long as you can get on a treadmill, it's pretty easy to get started. It's so easy to get set up with Zwift running. Here's what you need. Firstly, access to a treadmill. It could be at home or at the gym, but any treadmill will work with Zwift. To get you moving in game, we need a speed source. Traditionally, we use a foot pod, like the Zwift pod or the Stride. But you can also use the Run Smart treadmill sensor, your Apple Watch, one of the newer Garmin watches, the TSS app, and if you have a smart treadmill, your treadmill will connect directly to Zwift without the need for another device. Now simply download the Zwift app onto a Mac, a PC, an iPhone, an iPad, an Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. Finally, pair your speed source in the app. Pairing heart rate from your watch or a chest strap is also a great addition to Zwift. And that's it. You're all set up for solo runs, solo or group workouts, challenges and real-time racing on Zwift with people from all over the world. Bit of a French contingent of cyclists passing me. And a load of Australians. Not too far behind then. So Tony says 99% is in your head, and Jeff Partridge says the other 1% is also in your head. Tom White says, what are you eating throughout the race? So early on in a run, I'm not bad at eating solid foods. So I'll be having sandwiches, pizza, pasta, things like that during my little breaks. But then I do tend to go off solid food later on in 100 miler, so it'll be onto the liquids. And it's a combination of slow release and fast release glycogen, really. So fast release glycogen is probably going to be Red Bull, little sips of that every so often. And slow release is a powdered drink called Huel, which is kind of a full protein carbohydrate drink. And I mix that with full fat milk, so I get fats as well. So that'll be my main kind of fuel. Rob Harrison says, is it possible to fall asleep at the treadmill? Do you know what? I did consider what time I ought to start, because do you... Like I say, I've done a few of these. Oh, let's go up to... Hang on a minute. No, we don't, not speeding up. We're going up 6% just for this little section. Climbing out of the water. If I'm going to do it, I may as well do it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so do you start late at night, which I have done on a number of occasions, and do the early part of the run in the night time, and then do the rest during the day the next day? Or do you start early in the morning and do the final part of your run overnight? I've done it both ways in the real world, and I'm still not entirely sure what I prefer. Tom White says, what's the furthest you've ever run? Honestly, not that far. 112 miles. So not much more over the 100. I would like to do some of those canal runs, which are like 130, 145 miles. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get there eventually. Nick Onslow says, did you look at the great virtual race across Tennessee? Yes, I did. Couldn't commit that amount of time and that amount of distance each day on the treadmill. So I know there are a few people on Zwift who are doing it. But I couldn't commit that amount of time. Yeah, Ryan says starting late is good. That's what I figured, really. I figured if I do the nighttime first, get that done, and then hopefully I can stick it out during the day. Right, so we're headed to the Epic Con. We do not want to go to the desert flats, so make sure I don't turn. And we're going up to the radio tower as well, pretty early on. As soon as we get to the top of the Epic Com, it's up to the radio tower as well. So I'll be walking up to there, because that's like 15%. And my treadmill can only go up to 12. And Tom White says, have you done an Ironman? The short answer to that is no. The longer answer is, I have attempted a full distance triathlon. It wasn't an Ironman. It wasn't the Ironman brand. But I attempted this stupid full distance Ironman, full distance triathlon with like a really tough bike route. And I wasn't doing too badly, but I wasn't very quick. And because I wasn't very quick, I had a technical blowout, 2 technical blowouts on my tyres. And by the time I'd changed my tyres, because I only had one inner tube, so I had to wait for some mechanic to arrive and get a second inner tube. By the time I'd done all that, I'd lost half an hour, 40 minutes, and I wasn't going to make the cut-off for the run. So I DNF'd. So I have attempted a full distance triathlon, but I haven't finished one. I think I got 2/3 through the bike before I had my technical problem. So we're on our way up to the Epic Com. This is the second highest mountain on Zwift. So you've got the Com, which is the tiny little hill. And then you've got the volcano, which is a little bit bigger. Then you've got the Epic Com, which is fairly big. And then you've got the ridiculous Alpe Zwift, which is a 1,000-meter climb. And Josefowski's come to join me for a bit. Jeff Partridge says, am I going to do the spine in 2022 to keep him company? Yeah, I did bail this year. It's a money thing, really, Jeff. Money and time. You know, whether I can commit that amount of money to entry and getting all the equipment together that I need, and time. You know, whether I can convince the family that I can go away for 7 days and run for 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them. Let's give Josefowski a ride on. Turnbull, thanks for the ride on. Paul Carter says, good evening, Mr. C. How far are you running? Thought I might do 100 miles, Paul. But I've only just started, so let's not go crazy. So, 45 minutes in, heart rate's still nice and low. Probably need to turn some lights on, actually. It's quite dark in here, isn't it? So 15 minutes time, I'll put a film on for you, and I will go to the toilet, or the loo, or the John, or the restroom, whatever. Oh, 5% elevation. 9% elevation. Blimey. See, this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to be going crazy on, like, I don't want to be going crazy with changing the elevation all the time. Thanks, Paul. If you can put the main light on, like in here. Thank you. Right. Okay, Ryan Perring says an average of 4%. Okay, so if I just do average 4% for the whole thing, yeah? So that's a good idea from Ryan. That I just average. Oh, thanks, Josefowski. Cheers, buddy. I just average out the climb up the comm. Jonathan Cost, good evening to you. Hello, buddy. How are you? Dean Hand says, hope you're well. After a bit of advice, do you service your treadmill, and if so, how frequently? No, because this treadmill is supposed to self-lubricate, or it's supposed to not need servicing, or at least not need lubricating anyway.
I'm toast.
Oh, no, that's wrong button. I'm not toast.
Right on.
Thanks, Ryan. Jonathan Cost says he's just bathed the cats. Tom White says, what's your fastest 5k? It is outdoors, 18 minutes 57 seconds. Indoors, lower than that, but I don't like to have my indoor times quicker than my outdoor times. But I have been doing a lot of short distance recently on the treadmill, so I don't know. I could possibly beat 18:57 outdoors right now. I can't remember what it is. Something like 18:40 something indoors on the treadmill. I did that a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can tell you, actually, I think. So if we go to... What do we do? Click on that. Go to menu. Go to edit paces. 5k time, 18:37. That's what Zwift tells me my time is. Right, I'm believing Ryan when he says the average is 4%, but it seems at the moment it's saying like 7 and 8% fairly continuously. So I don't know if it levels itself out a bit later on. Grant Melko says, can you beat Mo Farah in a 50-metre dash? Funny. I think even though Mo Farah is a distance runner, I think he's probably still faster sprinter than I am. Paul Carter says it would have been his first marathon today if the marathons had been on. And he says somebody did a 50 miles on a treadmill instead of doing the Ox 50, which is an outdoor 50-mile run that would have happened today. Okay, I'm trusting Ryan that the elevation for this is correct. Need to keep the heart rate nice and low. Don't want to be burning out early. And I am stopping for a couple of minutes in about 9 or 10 minutes time. What is the time? Because both my computers say different things. One computer says 2051 and one computer says 2050. I started at 8 o'clock on this computer that's currently saying 2051, so we'll go with that. Cheers, Richard. Long, long way to go yet. Okay, so yeah, this computer's right. Good. I'm going to have to sort out why that computer doesn't want to lock on to proper time signals. Ollie Golden says, "Are you mad? Have a great run." Thank you, Ollie. I'll be fine. Jonathan Cost says, "By the way, Stephen, what are you doing?" I'm doing 100 miles. Jonathan, I only started just under an hour ago. 8 o'clock I started. So I've done... Oh, I've changed my name to 4.cousins. That's my camera angles again, isn't it? Right. So that's one job to do in a minute. Actually, no, we'll do that now. Stop the camera angles. Right, where are we? Pause camera angles. And we'll go back up to the menu. Edit. Take that 4 away. Oh, why can't we do that? Oh, because the hotkeys are on. Off hotkeys. Delete that. Save. There we go. We're going again now. We'll put camera angles back on again. Oh, wrong. Unpause the script. Hopefully that'll carry on again. Ollie says, "Just don't overheat. It's going to get bloody hot in there." Definitely not sub 20, Ollie, no. So the plan is to cover every road in Watopia. Run paths, cycle paths. We'll do all of the roads. And hopefully I can do that in 24 hours and in the process cover 100 miles. Now, if we get to 100 miles and I've covered all the paths, all the roads under 24 hours, then I will stop. If I get to 24 hours and I have not achieved one of those goals, so 100 miles or covering every inch of the roads in Watopia, then I will carry on if I've not got far to go. If I've totally blown out and I just haven't got anything left, then I may give up and just call it a 24-hour run on Zwift. But I really, really hope I can do it 100 miles. Aid stations every hour, Ollie, so in 5 minutes I'm going to stop. I'm going to go to the toilet and I'm going to grab a quick drink. So we're going to stop every hour for a couple of minutes. When it gets to the morning, I might have a shower. So there are certain markers that we need to hit. So I need to do about a marathon every 6 hours. I need to hit 50 miles by 8 o'clock in the morning. So there's lots of milestones and markers that I can keep my eye on to make sure that I'm on track. Daniel says you won't have any voice left talking like this for 24 hours. Well, I'm assuming that you're all going to go away and go to bed in a couple of hours, and I can spend 6 hours quietly running on my own with nothing to say. We'll see. The other thing that I'm doing is doing elevation. You are not staying up all night to pester me, Ryan. Please don't do that. Mind you, of course, you're in the States, aren't you? So you're like 5 hours behind. So you can be up until like my 3 o'clock in the morning, can't you? Oh no. I'm gonna be pestered, having to talk all night to you lot. Russell Williams, is this happening right now? I bloody hope it's happening right now. Or we're in some kind of weird time flux thing. Yes, this is live right now, Russell. I am running 100 miles. I started at 8 o'clock. I've only done 1 hour, and it's almost time for my first break. And I'm going to put a film on for you to show you some of my outdoor runs. Rob Harrison says it's like election night. We could stay up all night watching. Oh God, I feel sorry for you if you do. Can you imagine? Get some sleep, guys. Honestly, you don't. I mean, I totally appreciate it. But if it was me, I wouldn't stay up watching some nutter run on a treadmill for the whole night. You can watch me all day tomorrow. Russell Williams says fair play. Thank you, buddy.
Nice.
Jonathan says he's a night owl. So, oh God, okay then. Myself and Ryan will be with you all night. Fair enough. It might be nice to have somebody, as long as I don't have to talk all the time. As long as I can just run sometimes or walk and be quiet. Because it's going to get to that stage and you'll see it in my face. I will go through some dark times. You are going to see me suffer. There's no doubt about it. 100 miles is not a joke. I don't take this on lightly, although it might look like I'm, just out for a Sunday stroll. I do know what I'm doing, and I know that there will be points in this run where I actually want to stop, where I don't look good, sound good, or feel good. So just, be aware that is the situation. I know what I'm getting myself into. I've done it before, and it may not be pretty at times. Richard Gardner says, hats off to you. Thanks, buddy.
Nice. So I'm running at 4% elevation at the moment. We're on a
a gradient of 3%, but the kind of average, apparently I've been told, the average gradient is around 4%. So there are some sections of this climb which are 8, 9, 10%, but much of it is less than that. So if I just average about a 4% gradient to get up here, Neil Messenger has come to join me. Right, guys, it is 9 o'clock, so I am going to slow down and just go and have a little go to the toilet and have a short break. I'll put a film on for you. Right, this is me doing the Rat 100-mile race in 2018. So enjoy this while I just go and have a quick break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes time.
Who has the flag? You have the flag.
This is the campsite for the Mud Crew Rat Weekend, the Roseland August Trail Weekend. It's not terribly warm, but you know, there's the British summer for you. And we're here at the Porthpean Outdoor Education Centre. That's where we all are. These are the tents. Over there is registration and food. Over there is the sea. And in about 6 hours, I'll be running 100k. Pizza. This is Paul. Paul is a super uber fast runner. Are you actually going through time or you got a few niggles?
See how it goes, see how it goes.
They always say that. See how it goes and then look. I loved it so much. I'm back for a second year. 100k from here in Porthpean, all the way out to St Anthony's Head. We turn around, we come back. We go out in the dark, we come back in the rain. It's going to be awesome, it really is. And I've got Richard with me this time as well. And this lot, look. Straight into the climbing at 2k in. That aid station will be buzzing when we come back at 92k. As it is, we've got to be nice and quiet. So it's 1:30 in the morning. We've done 11 kilometres and this is Mevagissi. So we're just over 10 miles. What station is it? Where is it?
Gorenhaven, yeah.
We're at Gorenhaven and it's taken us 2 hours 17 minutes to get here. So 25 kilometres done. Yeah. In 3.5 hours. Okay, a little bit annoyed because just gone the wrong way and gone about 200-300 metres out of my way, so it's a bit annoying. But it is now 5 hours since we started, so it's just around 5 o'clock in the morning, and there's just the hint of daylight appearing now. I've covered 34 kilometres, so another 10 miles to go to the turnaround point. It wouldn't be a Film My Run video if I didn't dip myself in the sea, would it? Oh, that is so nice. Just let my legs cool off a bit. And then I'll have a quick dip under and then we'll get going again. Right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So I've done a marathon in 6 hours 21 minutes, which sounds pretty slow. Paul Maskell is in the lead, about 1 minute ahead. Hello, buddy. And there's second place. What's your name? We're just coming up to the second last checkpoint. So Port Scafo. So last stop is Anthony's Head, and then we come back here again. Is it bacon butties again this year?
Bacon butties and pasta.
See, I didn't have bacon butty last year, and no doubt I probably won't have one again, but it's nice to know that they're here, isn't it? I think you're in 4th place, buddy. Thank you, Stephen. All right. You're in 17th, I think.
It's hard, isn't it?
Doing good though. You're on for 14 easily.
I'm on 7 hours now.
Yeah, so 13 and a half, but
yeah.
we're not actually that far away from the turnaround point now then. 7 hours and 27 minutes, so maybe we'll get to the turnaround point. 7 hours and 30 minutes. It's been raining a little bit. You alright? Yeah. Good, good. Hi guys. Hello.
Hi darling, how are you doing?
Oh. Yeah, suffering a little bit.
What do you want?
That's Paul Maskell Ultra Running Flapjack. That'll get you there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, Stephen.
Yes.
Bugger off.
Thank you very much. See you guys. What's your name?
I'm Colin Truro.
And are you glad to be here?
It's a lovely, stupid course. And I'm suffering a bit now, but we'll get there.
Yeah, 55k in, so we're doing all right. Who are you?
I'm Jen.
Hi Jen, nice to meet you. Are you glad you came?
Definitely, I definitely want a bacon roll though.
Sun's going to come out in a minute. How you doing?
Not too bad. Focusing on the positives. 35.5 miles.
Yeah. I hear you've got a problem with the generator. This is the man responsible for me not having my coffee and therefore not winning the plague this year.
I think I might be sadder than you about it.
So Port Scafo, 58 kilometres, we're off. Thanks very much, guys. So that is 60 kilometres done in 8 hours 45 minutes. So less than a marathon to go. Still feeling okay. I've got that spring in my step that comes from turning round and coming back home. See how long it lasts. I hope you can see out there the rock formation that looks like a rat. So this is first lady in the 50k and second male in the 50k. Well done, buddy. Okay, so here we are just coming into Portlow with 20 miles to go. There used to be an aid station here, or there was last year, but there isn't anymore, so we've got to go straight through Portlow, but at least we're through before the 20-mile runners start. Where am I headed? Up the hill. Oh God, up! Nobody ever said anything about hills. I thought it was a flat 100k. Hiya! Yeah, there was an aid station in there last year. I could do with a coffee. Thanks, guys. Second lady, I think, in the 50k. The 50k, if you don't know, is called the Black Rat, and it starts at St Anthony's Head. Hello, who are you? The 50k is called the Black Rat, starts at St Anthony's Head where we turned around. And we're just climbing the steps out of Portlow with under 20 miles to go, hopefully. We've climbed 2,500 metres so far. Sorry, go for it.
Hey, film my run.
Hello. 11 o'clock, 10 hours 58 minutes of running, 75 kilometres covered, 25 kilometres to go. So we mustn't stay too long here, because you get told off firstly, and if you start eating all this stuff, you'll be here for hours. Oh, awesome stuff, thank you very much. This is a new aid station, because Portlow. Cheers, Chris. It's definitely raining now. So we're just coming into Goran Haven now, and we are just over 11 miles from home. It's taken us 12 and a quarter hours to do this so far. Hi guys.
What do you want? Water, cake, drink?
Coffee. Have you got any coffee?
Coffee!
Coffee.
2 coffees?
I don't know. Chris, you want coffee? So the White Rat 11 miler has just started. They're just coming up now here. Hello. 86.5 kilometres done. 12 hours, 45 minutes. I'm alright, thank you very much for offering though. So we've still got the 20 milers and the 11 milers and probably some 50k runners coming past. I haven't seen a plague runner for ages though. So I don't know where they've all got to. My legs are shot now. Really, really shot. No, I'm not. Thank you very much, guys. Coffee popcorn. Okay, that is 90k done in 13 hours and 14 minutes. Over 92k now. Okay, final aid station at Pentuin. I've got an ice lolly. I've got 8k, 5 miles-ish to go. I suppose we better get going really, haven't we?
Come on, Stephen, you can do it.
See you guys, thank you.
There'll be milk at the finish line.
There better be a latte at the finish line. Two and a half kilometres to go. .99 kilometres and so done in. so hard. Honestly, if you're going to come and do the plague, know that it's really tough, honestly. Great fun. Fantastic with this crowd here. Look at that. But hard work.
And the winner of the ladies' plague in the time of 13 hours, 33 minutes and 35 seconds is Emily Warren. And the winner of the men's 2018 plague in a fantastic time of 11 hours, 34 minutes and 26 seconds is Paul Haskell.
Okay, there we are. Mud Crew's August Trail, Roseland's August Trail. 100k along the Cornish coast back in 2018. I am 8.2 kilometres in to my 100-mile tour of Watopia. 100 miles of Watopia, basically, in 24 hours, covering all of Watopia, every road, every cycle path, every trail. We're going to be going right up to the top of the Alpe Zwift with full elevation. We're going to the top of the Epic Com here right now with full elevation. When I say full elevation, I am kind of averaging out the elevation for the whole climbs. So although it says 6% at the moment, I am only on 4% elevation on the treadmill, but when it says 0% elevation somewhere up this hill, I will still be on 4%. Mohammed Rashid says keep going strong. Graham Carter says nutter, good luck. Lloyd Palmer says you're my hero. Hello, Lloyd. And Ryan Downey says, it seems that Stephen spent the majority of that race in search of non-existent aid stations. Yeah, well, I was most miffed to get to a certain point and find that the aid station that was there the year before wasn't there. It's a bit annoying. So there's no fear of me getting cold. It is absolutely baking. Even now at 20 past 9 in the evening here. To do 100 miles in 24 hours, I have to average 6.7 kilometers per hour. And for some of these hills, like now, actually I feel like walking a bit now. Some of these hills I will be going slower than 6.7. I will be walking. It's very early in the run, so I do not want to tire myself out unduly early on in the run. Ellis says he's going to bed. Good night, Ellis. Sleep tight. I might come up a bit later and give you a kiss goodnight. Garcia says, what shoes are you wearing on the treadmill? Well, today I'm wearing my 1080s, my New Balance 1080s. They're not particularly designed for treadmill running. They're just flat shoes, or flat road shoes rather. There's a little bit of a drop on them, about 3% drop, 3mm drop, I think, something like that. Jonathan Cost says good night, Ellis, as well.
Thanks for giving my dad a ride on.
There he is. He's off to bed. Ryan Perring, who also did that race with me, agrees that that checkpoint moving at Portloo was heartbreaking. We had to do an extra 4 or 5 miles to get to the new aid station. Yeah, it was horrible. Never mind. We did it. Right, we're climbing up the epic comm. And we are going to turn off at the top and go right up to the very, very top, to the radio tower. So this epic comm for cyclists, they start at the bottom and they are timed to a banner at the top of the hill. But then you can also turn off to the left and go even higher up to a radio tower at the top, and go round a little thing at the top of the radio tower and come back down again. That's not technically part of the comm, but it is somewhere we want to go, so that's what we're going to do. Victoria is going to bed, so she's not being crew overnight. I will manage myself overnight, and then Victoria will crew for me tomorrow. A lot of flies in here tonight. So I am going to have to dab myself down at some point, because it's really warm. I'm going to have regular changes of clothing to keep dry. I hope it's not. The reason I've done it today, going into tomorrow is supposed to be a lot cooler than it was today. Yeah, it was very warm today, so I'm kind of glad I didn't start last night and come into today, because it would have been baking hot running during the day today.
Ride on!
G. Elder, thank you very much for your ride on. So a lot of these, well, all the hills, so this one and the Alp, the Zwift and the Volcano, I will be walking up most of them, just to preserve my energy. This is what I do in normal 100-mile races outdoors. Don't run up the hills unless you're uber elite athlete. Yeah, Ryan says it was 30 degrees in his pain cave today, despite having the doors wide open, so I think it would have been the same here. He's not doing mine. It's not happening, Jonathan. I was lucky. I actually got my hair cut the day before, well, maybe 2 days before lockdown happened. I think I got my hair cut on the Friday or Saturday or something, and lockdown happened on the Sunday or the Monday. Yeah. So I was quite lucky. Stephen Smith agrees with Ryan about the heat. So yeah, glad I didn't do it today. Letting the heart rate come down to 98 BPM. And this is at 0%, by the way, here. And I'm actually on 5%, to be honest. But yeah, it's kind of averaging 4%. So I am keeping the elevation on for these sections. Although, do you know what? It might be quite nice to kind of you know, like in real life, when hills go up and down, you don't stay continually going up, do you? So it might be quite nice to vary it a little bit. I just don't want to vary it like all the time, because that'll just get really tedious. Steenrod, thank you. Jim Haysom says, are you planning to do every road in Watopia? Yes. Every road, every bike path, every running path, every trail section. So at the moment we're following the Uber Pretzel route. And the Uber Pretzel route does everything apart from any running paths and Titan's Grove and Repack Ridge. So as long as I can follow the Uber Pretzel route for the full 79, 80 miles, that should get most of it done. And then we'll go and do Titan's Grove and Repack Ridge, and then we'll finish on the run path and the track. That should be everything. And I think I'll be the first person to do that. I don't know if anyone knows of anyone who has run... Well, there isn't anyone, is there? Nobody's run the whole thing, have they? Adam did well over 100 miles, but he didn't cover all the roads. Yorgo Stockman, when do you expect to finish? Well, it's 24 hours. I'm doing 24 hours, so 8 o'clock in the evening tonight, 8 o'clock in the evening tomorrow. Jonathan Cost says, you got me in trouble with Mrs. Tim with your clapper. Yeah, I just post these things, you know, just to get people arguing. It's just fun. I know there are genuine people who clap. It's just I feel uncomfortable doing it. Don't know why. Well, I do know why, but yeah. Jim Hastings says, I've given you a ride on already. Wish I could do it again. He says he's ridden the Uber Pretzel. It's a beast. Good luck. Well, I think it's probably harder to cycle it because you do have so many more changes of elevation. I'm doing elevation, but I'm going to try and kind of average it out. Right, Ryan says the electricity bill would be too much, apparently. I reckon he's been told that by somebody. His other half, by any chance? You're not doing that? Can you imagine the amount of electricity that'll cost? John McManus, am I doing it for charity? No. If you want to donate, if you feel like this is such an awesome thing to do, that you want to donate something to charity, then please, by all means, donate something to your favourite charity. But I'm not forcing anyone to, or asking anyone to donate to anything specific. You know, I think if you want to give money to a cause, then just give money to a cause. Somebody doesn't have to run 100 miles. I mean, although it's a cool thing to do, I've done it before. It's not the, what am I trying to say? This is not amazing running 100 miles. 100 miles is just 100 miles. It's not amazing, it's just 100 miles. So I wouldn't, I'm not going to look at that and say, I think that you should donate X amount of money because it's such an amazing feat to run 100 miles. But by all means, if you feel you need to donate some money to your favourite charity, please do so. Right, I'm not planning on running anytime soon. Just going to walk up this hill. So currently it says 3% elevation. I'm at 5% elevation. I'm just kind of averaging it out. I think we're about halfway up. Actually, it does even out a lot more towards the top, doesn't it? So I might well drop it down one more notch again to 4% in a minute. Russell Williams, well, I suppose it's all relative, isn't it? You know, you train for these things, don't you? So, and you have an expectation that you're fit enough to do it and that you can do it. And especially if you've done it before, then you kind of feel like, well, I'm just going to do 100 miles. That's it. It's not like, you know, it's no big deal kind of thing. But if I was to look at running 300 kilometers in the French Alps to do the full PTL, the UTMB PTL race, for example, to me that's amazing. You know, I just don't think I could do that. But then I guess if I trained for it and if I made sure that I was ready for it, then I probably could do it. I don't know. But to me that's amazing, you know. So 300 odd kilometers in the French Alps with all that elevation, taking 5 days or something to do it. That's pretty incredible to me. Running 100 miles on a treadmill is, you know, I should be able to do that, really. Yeah, John makes a good point. Can you remember doing your first 5k or 10k or half where you were over the moon completing that? Yes, absolutely. And I totally take your point. And I do remember doing my first 10k run. And that video is still on my YouTube channel of my very first 10k run. And yeah, you see me at the end of that. Hilarious. Right, we're going through the clouds now. Me and Neil Messenger. Walking it out. We're nearly at 10k, so I've nearly done 10k and it's taken an hour and 34 minutes so far. So only 22 and a half hours left to do. It's going to be a long, long night, guys. I'm taking a break every hour, so just a few minutes to just grab a drink, go to the toilet, maybe change my top if I need to, reapply the crotch lube if I need to. There's all these things, you know, about ultra running that we don't talk about all that often. You may see me throwing up in the garden tomorrow at some point. We'll see. It's all very jolly and lovely right now, but give it 10, 12 hours. Zach Munson, hello, buddy. Yeah, we'll be all right. Long way to go yet. Just walking it out up this hill. Gordon Gaming says, "Are you seriously running 100 miles?" I'm going to try not to do it too seriously. I am just going to enjoy myself as much as possible. But yes, we're doing 100 miles. 8 o'clock this evening to 8 o'clock tomorrow night. 24 hours. And try and fit in 100 miles and every single road in Watopia. So we're climbing up a mountain at the moment, which is why I'm walking. So I've got the elevation up 5%, and we're climbing to the top of a mountain, and then I don't have negative incline on my treadmill, so there will be no descending. Essentially, it'll just be flat running. Ryan Perring says, "Is that a new 10k PB?" Not quite. There we are. There's 10k, 1 hour 36 minutes. That says 1 hour 33 minutes up there. What's going on there? Oh, yes, stopped time, of course, yeah. That's true. Yes, stopped time. So, okay, I'm going to have to take that into consideration, aren't I? No worries, so it doesn't matter. It's 24 hours from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. 24 hours from 8 o'clock on Saturday night to 8 o'clock on Sunday night, regardless of stopped time. Neil's decided he wants a little bit of a run. Can't blame him.
Ride on.
Shoofs, thanks for the ride on. Yes, no, I'm fully aware, Ryan, that I am going to be slowing down up the hills, so I will have to go faster to catch up the time. What we need to make sure what I need to try and make sure I do is basically a marathon every 6 hours. If I can keep to a marathon every 6 hours, or just under, I'll be all right. And there are three mountains, aren't there? 3 hills. So there's this one, there's the Alpe de Zwift, which is going to be the big one, the one that takes the time, and there is the volcano. So hopefully, if it's just those 3, and the little com as well, but if it's just those 3, then I should be able to make up the time within the 24 hours. But, we'll just have to see. It all adds up, you're right, yes. But I'll have a good idea. When we get to 6 hours, I'll have a good idea of how I'm doing, and if I do need to speed up. If I'm only at 23 miles in 6 hours, then I'll know I've got some work to do. So we're going into the mist now, getting nearer the top, although still a little way to go. When you're doing 100 miles, there is no point in racing up these hills. In real life, I would be walking up this hill. So I'm going to do the same on the treadmill. And, you can sit there at home and say, got to get running, but you don't have to get running. You just have to do it in the time required. And, the more you run early on, the more tired you will be later in the race. Right, Ryan Perring says, Epic Com, Radio Tower, Volcano, Hilly Com and Alp. Such fun. Well, Radio Tower will be done and dusted in the next hour or so. Get up to the top. Then it's the jungle route. Then I think it's the volcano after that. Oh, D. Edwards on an FTP test just behind me. Know that? I didn't know that it came up with FTP test on your next to your name there. John McManus says, what food have you got planned? So I've got this drink, which is called Huel, and it's a powdered protein carbohydrate drink, which I mix with full fat milk. So I'm going to be drinking that a lot of the time. In some of my breaks, if I've got time to have a bowl of pasta or something, I will do that. I think there's some dried pizza somewhere I can heat up. Sandwiches. Basically anything, really. I mean, but nothing too acidic. So fruit juice, I don't do particularly well with fruit juice. Certainly no curries or spicy food. And if I need a bit of a sugar rush, then I will drink some Red Bull, most likely. Shall we give him a ride on then? Seeing as he's asking me to. There you go, he's got one. So average pace for 100 miles in 24 hours has to be 6.7 kilometers per hour. As you can see, I'm currently going slower than that, 6 kilometers an hour, because I'm climbing a hill. I am doing elevation for this 100-mile run. So for the hills, I will be walking to preserve energy. But there are only 3 or 4 hills, 3 major hills to climb. I think it's a total elevation of around 2,500 meters, something like that. So by the end, I should have done around about 2,500 meters elevation by the end of the session. Yes, John. This is me taking my exploring Zwift beyond the track to the extreme. I have thought about doing this for a long time. Hello, Mark. I have thought about doing this for a long time, and it's taken me ages to get the courage and the inclination up to do it. And we are only 11 kilometers in. A lot can go wrong. So, and you know, one of the worst things to happen would be that Zwift crashes. If Zwift crashes, I am giving up, and I'll do it again another time. That's my promise to you. If the Zwift computer crashes and I lose my run, I will give up and I will do it again another day. What I want is Strava and Zwift to say 161 kilometers in one fell swoop. So there's absolutely no point in, if the computer crashes, there's no point in stopping and starting again and joining the two together or anything. 11 kilometers down, only 150 to go, says Ryan. Yep. So Mark Payne says, good evening, Stephen. 100 miles, very impressive. Yeah, not done it yet. Say it's impressive when I've done it. Got a long way to go. 22 and a quarter hours still to go. And we are walking up the epic com. We walk a little bit quicker. No, it's walking that pace. So when we get to 10 o'clock, which is in 12 minutes time, when we get to, sorry, Timothy, I'll answer you in a second. When we get to 10 o'clock, which is in 12 minutes time, I'm just going to go and fill up my drinks bottle and then I'll be back. I don't need much of a break. We'll carry on. Timothy Walsh says, what is the plan? Run and walk, but what paces? So the average pace, so I'm doing 100 miles in 24 hours. The average pace for 100 miles in 24 hours is 6.7 kilometers per hour. So the plan is to run at around 7 kilometers an hour, maybe just a bit faster. It depends on how much time I'm losing when I'm climbing the hills. When I climb the hills, I'll be walking, and it looks like around a pace of about 6 minutes per kilometre is what I'm able to do at the moment, but that might change. So at the moment, I'm at 5% elevation, climbing up the epic com, walking at 6 minutes per kilometre. Currently, it says -4 elevation on the Zwift, but I'm kind of averaging it out. I suppose I could do a little bit of a run now. Actually, let's go back down. Let's go down to 0 now and speed up to 7.5, just to make a change for the legs. We'll just do a little bit of this and then we'll slow down and climb again. Marcus Holmes says he's going to join me tomorrow AM Eastern Time. Thanks, Marcus. Appreciate it. John McManus says, if it doesn't crash, I will jump on in the morning, keep you company for a bit. He's had a few gins. So you go to bed, John, and I'll see you in the morning. Tim, overnight none. So every hour I'm just going to stop, go into the kitchen, get whatever I need. But then during the day tomorrow, my wife will be supporting me provided me with whatever I need during the daytime. So yeah, tonight I'm on my own. Right, slow back down again to 6, back up to 5% elevation. PF, thanks for subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please go to the YouTube channel Zwift Live, which is where we're broadcasting this run, also on Facebook. But yeah, Zwift Live, if you could subscribe there, that'd be really helpful. Thanks, guys. Marcus, no, there are plenty of 100-milers have already been done. Well, I say plenty. I know Adam Holland did one about 3 weeks ago. I know that another guy posted recently on Zwift Runners to say he'd done 100 miles, and did we know anyone else who'd done 100 miles on Zwift? So I can't remember the name of that guy, but that was last week. And the first 100-miler I remember was Tara Langdon. A couple of years ago, Tara did 161 miles on Zwift. And yeah, I couldn't believe it because I thought it said, I read it and I thought it said 161 kilometers, so 100 miles. But actually, no, it was 161 miles. And there's an interview with her, one of my channels. I think it's on the Film My Run channel. There's an interview with Tara Langdon from a couple of years ago about that run and about her plans to try and break the distance record for a treadmill for a woman over 24 hours. But I don't think she's not actually on Zwift anymore, I don't think. Anyway, so there's at least 3 people who've done 100 miles on, at least 3. But I'm planning to be the first person to do every single road. That's my plan, is to do every single road on Zwift. within this 24 hours. Timothy Walsh says, right, do you plan to stop at 100 miles or go for 24 hours? Whichever comes first, Tim. So if I do 100 miles in under 24 hours and I have completed all the roads on Watopia, then I'll stop. If I get to 24 hours and I've only got like 2 or 3 miles to do, then I'll carry on. If I've totally blown out and I've still got 10, 15 miles left to go, I'll probably call it a day at 24 hours. Yes, Ryan, I have considered. I have considered the Everest Challenge. It is definitely something I've thought about. Oh yeah, we can't forget Project Oregon, who has done 370 miles at 18 kilometers per hour on Zwift. Forgot about that. So this is currentently saying -8, -9. I'm still at 5% elevation, so I'm still walking it out here. Let's just have a little bit of a run. Just do, 400 meters or something. Next film is coming up in 2 minutes. Oh, we're back up to 4% now. It's no good. What's all that about? I'll just run for a couple of 100 meters. To 12.5. And then put the film on. Yeah, we did discuss Project Oregon in the meeting the other day. So I think it's probably as a result of that.
Right on.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Right, let's get back up to elevation. Timothy says, what's your longest real-life run? 112 miles. And it was a run called the Devon Coast to Coast. If you look on my Film My Run channel, just search for Devon Coast to Coast, Film My Run, and you'll find my film of that race. It was supposed to be 117 miles, but we only clocked 112. We didn't go the wrong way or anything. I think most people do agree it is only about 112. And that took us 33 hours. So I can stay awake for 33 hours. So there's no reason why I can't stay awake for 24 hours. Right, time for the next film. In fact, I'll play you that one now. Look, you don't have to search for it. Look, here we are. This is my longest run to date. My longest ever run, 33 hours. In terms of distance, by the way, I've run for longer time than that. Devon Coast to Coast, 2 Moors Way Ultra. Enjoy this, and I'm just going to stop and have a drink.
Welcome to Film My Run, welcome to Wembury Beach. This is going to be 117 miles of the Coast to Coast Ultra. It's the 2 Moors way from Wembury here, all the way up to Lynmouth. We're crossing Dartmoor, we're crossing Exmoor. It's going to take us about, 30 hours, something like that. It's going to be a bit crazy, a bit wet. Hope you enjoy watching it.
Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a great time!
Yeah, wild garlic. It's a bit underripe early in the season, but it's lovely. Put it in salad.
So we've been running for 3 hours and 17 minutes. We've travelled just over 14 miles and we're in the town of Ivybridge now. The weather doesn't really know what to do, so sometimes it's blowing a gale and raining, and then other times it's really warm and sunny like it is now, so it's a bit confusing really. Stowford Paper Mill if you were interested, 1862. We're just climbing out of Ivybridge and look, actual snow. Yeah, the sun's out, it's quite warm really. And we're just climbing up onto Dartmoor now really, I think. We're about 27 miles, just over 27 miles, and we just come into the first main aid station. Beautiful run down off the moors, and we thought we're just going to come to the end of the downhill and it'll be a lovely little village and that'll be it. But no, we've got this really steep little hill to climb. One or two navigational issues at the River Dart, but we're now climbing right up a big hill. 32.5 miles, 7 hours 50 minutes. Been quite a big descent after that big long climb we just did. Okay, now look, this isn't the Arc of Attrition, okay? This is not Centurion. This is hardcore running. This is our aid station. You can have a pretzel or a peanut. What do you want? So Bennett's Cross in Dartmoor. We've done about 38, 39, 40 miles, 39.5 miles in how long? 8, 9, 45? Better get running. Chocolate drop. Chocolate. Don't mind if I do. 10 to 8. The light is definitely fading, so it'll be head torches in a minute. This is, where are we?
Swimming pool. Fancy a swim.
So we're going for a swim because we definitely need it. We were hoping that the bogs would let up, but the bogs simply haven't let up at all, really. But we're doing okay, and we've got more food to come, and then another aid, the big aid station in about 7 miles, 8 miles, 6. Ooh. Come on.
Chagford swimming pool, look.
It is 11:15 at night. We're in the village hall in Hittersley, and this is the aid station. This is the second major aid station. I've had chili, I've had coffee, I've even had a foot spa. Where's the lovely lady who gave me a foot spa? That lady has given me the most amazing foot massage. Cleaning, amazing. This lady's made us coffee and tea. Thank you very much. It's dark and it's cold and it's wet out there, but we're going to make it. It's 4:56 in the morning, nearly 5 o'clock. I've no idea what this village is that we've just arrived in. We've been going for 20 hours and 41 minutes. And we've covered, well, according to my watch, we've covered 74 miles. Richard's watch says we've covered a bit further. And about 3,500 metres of elevation. We're really tired, but we've still got about like 35 miles to go. Anyway, we're in Witheridge. This is kind of a pop-up aid station that's popped up inside a village hall. This is not the proper third aid station. We'll get to that in 15 kilometres. Thank you very much to these guys. Helped us out again. Take care, Steve. We've been running for 22 hours and 42 minutes. We've still got 30 miles to go. We were hoping to get in under 30 hours, but I don't think that's going to happen now. The night time was so difficult, really boggy. I think we were averaging about 3 miles an hour. Just leaving West Anstey now at about 8:30 in the morning. That was the final aid station, and now we've got the climb up onto Exmoor for the last section before we finish. We've been running for 24 hours and 20 minutes, so if you add 8 hours to that, we'll finish in 32 hours, 32 and a half hours, let's say. So, we've run 90 miles. We've got just under 20 to go. It's taken us 26 hours, 22 minutes, and we've just come to the Tar Steps, very famous steps across this river. I'm just saying to Richard here, this is one heck of a route we're on, eh? Huh? 18.5 miles to go.
It's nice, isn't it? Look, the mud's gone.
We've just washed our legs in the cold.
Very cold.
Still 17.8 miles to go. Oh dear, it's felt like we were near the end for ages. We've still got like way more than a half marathon to do. $10 miles to go. Totally shattered now. It's been a really long 2 days. Very difficult night in the mud, but we're getting there, slowly getting there now. 10 miles left. Rain has started with 6 miles to go. Just dropping down towards Lynmouth now, 3 miles to go. We think we might have improved our placing a bit because we've just overtaken somebody, so. Very steep switchbacks at the end of the race. 1 mile to go. And we're coming back up through the forest. We've done about nearly 5,000 metres of elevation, which is around about 15,000 feet. Welcome to Lynmouth on the north coast of Devon. We have about 200 metres to go to the finish, and both Richard and I are completely and utterly wrecked by that ultra. Absolutely annihilated. I can't remember a time when we have walked to the finish.
I've never
but that's what we're doing today, because that has wrecked us. And here we are at the finish of the Devon Coast to Coast. That was a hard run. Very, very hard. Okay, so that was the longest run I've ever done so far. It's 112 miles, Devon coast to coast. We are running 100 miles today. We're 14 kilometres in. So literally 7.5 miles, 8 miles done. No, hang on a minute, 9 miles done, nearly 9 miles done. And only 91 left to do. Mark Hoy says, wow, this is cool. What's it called? Well, depends. Were you talking about the film or were you talking about the game that we're in now? So the film was of a race called the Devon Coast to Coast. That one there was the first time it had ever been run. I think they've changed it a bit now because of our experience there, which was very, very muddy that day. Really, really bad conditions. They've changed it to later in the year.
when it's a little bit drier. And I think the race last year was a lot quicker because it was a lot drier underfoot. I think they've changed it to May now, Ryan. But this is Zwift. We are on a big climb up to the top of a mountain. This is the second highest mountain on Zwift. We've still got the highest mountain to go. We're just coming to the end of the main climb here, but then we're just going to turn off in a minute to a kind of extra little bit of climbing. I am doing elevation, but I'm kind of averaging the elevation out. Mark Hoy, both the game and the video. Okay, yeah, so I've explained the video. That was 2 years ago. Every hour I'm playing you one of my real world videos. This game, we are doing 100 miles in 24 hours on Zwift. So I'm on Zwift all the time. This is my virtual running game where you run with people from all over the world in real time. There are lots and lots of miles of road and pathway that you can go on Zwift. So I thought I'd spend 24 hours covering all of them. So I'm gonna attempt to do 100 miles in 24 hours and use elevation to climb all the hills and attempt to cover every single bit of road and trail and path on this imaginary world called Watopia, which is part of the Zwift ecosystem. There are a number of other worlds as well, but Watopia is the main one. And there's probably around about 100 miles worth of road on Zwift. Yeah, extra little bit. Radio tower coming up. Here we go. Bonus climb, it says. So I am walking up all the hills. There's no point in being a hero and trying to run up these climbs because there's a long, long way to go, especially at this stage of the evening. We've only been going for no, hang on a minute. What time is it now? 10 o'clock. 20 past 10. What time did I start? 8 o'clock. Yeah. So 2 hours, 20 minutes we've been going for. And we've got a good 22 hours left, 21 hours 40 minutes left to go, so there's no point in burning myself out at this stage. Yeah, I suppose I could have run flat for a bit here, but sod it. We'll get this climb over and done with, and then I'll start some running. Keep my eye on this direction, so that my little automatic camera switcher doesn't change the direction I'm going. So left turn coming up, and see that radio tower up on the hill there? That's where we're going. Thanks, Mark. Cheers, buddy.
Nice.
There we are, done. So just a tiny little bit of running down the hill before we start climbing. I don't know if Neil's coming with me or if Neil is going. Timothy Walsh says, did my 60th ride up the Zwift this morning with the squad. Ran up it on Monday. Well done, Tim. God, blimey. 60th ride up the Alp. I think I've done it twice. Amazing work. Right. So I've put it up to 12% elevation for this bit. Thank you, Tim. So, a film every hour from my archives of real-world marathons and ultras and trail running that I've done over the past few years. And in between those films, we'll be trying to get 100 miles done on the treadmill. So it's lucky that I've got quite a back catalogue of films to show you, isn't it? So it's going to be at least 23 films over the next few hours. Galen, thank you for the ride on. Thank you to Neil Messenger for running with me for the past few kilometres up the hill there. I think he went off or stopped at the turn off to the tower. So thanks, Neil, for running with me. Appreciate it. And Josifovsky from earlier on as well. He ran a couple of kilometres with me. Thank you to him. So slowly climbing up to the radio tower. I cannot do the full elevation. It's 14%. My treadmill only goes up to 12%. But that's what we're doing. Oh no! Neil says he missed the turning. No worries, Neil. If you want to carry on, just turn round, walk back up the hill and turn right. I'll probably meet you on the way down. If you want to, it's no pressure. So this is 15% grade now, climbing this bit. You can see my treadmill is on 12% grade there, and I'm going at 5 minutes per kilometre, 5 kilometres per hour, rather. So if we break down the time and distance that I need to do, the average pace I need to do is 6.7 kilometres per hour to do 100 miles in 24 hours. Now it breaks down to around about a marathon every 6 hours. Just a bit less than a marathon every 6 hours. So we can break that down further. So I'd need to do about 20 to 21 kilometers every 3 hours. Now we've been going 2.5 hours and I've done 15 kilometers. Now I'm not going to get 5 or 6 kilometers done in the next half an hour. So I am behind, but I have been climbing this hill for a lot of that time. So I'm hoping that we can make up time in the next 3 hours, next 3.5 hours, and we'll be back on track when we get to 6 hours. Hopefully I'll have done between 40 and 42 kilometers in 6 hours. We have been losing time climbing the hill. Neil says, how can I turn around? Well, I don't know what platform you're using, but there should be, if you click or tap the bottom of the screen in the middle, you should get a set of blue buttons come up. One of them will be a kind of turn around button, and you either need to click that or press and hold on it, and you should turn around. If you're on a computer, click it with your mouse. Yeah, and Timothy says if you're on the companion app, you can press U-turn in the menu. Paul Carter, yeah, my treadmill only goes to 12% as well. So that's the best I can do is to put it up to 12%. Tom White says, does any treadmill work with this app? Yes, essentially, all you need is a treadmill and a foot pod. So get yourself any old treadmill. As long as you've got a foot pod, usually a Bluetooth foot pod, depending on what you're using to run the Zwift app, then you can use any treadmill. My particular treadmill is a smart treadmill, so it works directly with Zwift, so I don't need a foot pod, so I can just connect directly to Zwift, which is a lot more satisfying. But smart treadmills are still pretty expensive. Mark Hoy says, how long have you been running for? Well, it depends what you mean, you see. I've been running all my life. You know, since I was like 16, running around the block, running along the seafront or whatever, running at school and stuff. But actually doing official races, I literally started about 10 years ago? Yeah, maybe 10 years ago. I did my first kind of 10k race, and I started doing park run as well in 2011. So I started getting into it much more then. So yeah, and then my first half marathon 2011, First marathon 2012, first ultra 2014, and I think I'm at about 110 marathons and ultras, something like that. I've done about 6 or 7 100 milers. And what's your best overall trainers? Well, I've flitted around a lot between different brands of trainer, to be honest with you. But at the moment, and for the past, I'd say for the past 3 years, I've been with Hoka. Really like Speed Goats and Evo Mafates. So I guess Speed Goats, Evo Speed Goats and Speed Goat 4s are the ones I would go for. That's trail shoes, of course. I really don't have a preference for road shoes at all. Currently I'm wearing New Balance 1080s, but I've also got a pair of those 4% Nikes, which I think have given me a bit of an injury to, or gave me an injury before, so I'm not overly pleased with them, but that's more about running style than anything. Okay, we are not far off the top now, and then I can get it back down to 0%, and we can have a little bit more of a run. Still not going to be quick though. Do not expect me to be going at any speedy pace whatsoever for this entire run. If I ever get up to 10 kilometers an hour, shoot me, because I should not be going that fast. Yes, Tom, I have had shin splints in about 2015, 14, or maybe, no, 13. A long time ago, I was out for 3 months with shin splints. It took a long time to recover, and I remember going running quite a few times thinking that it was okay and having to stop after 500 meters because it was awfully painful. So yeah, it took me 3 months to get over that, but fingers crossed I haven't had a serious injury since. Actually, I've been sidelined for a few weeks last year with a painful foot. But apart from that, it's been all good. Been quite lucky, really. Okay, we're pretty much at the top. So it's a case of just coming down the other side now. It's a shame my treadmill doesn't have a negative incline, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I really like Hoka's. Carl Watts, evening Stephen. Sorry I haven't viewed lately, as I'm lucky enough to run outside in my area in Snowdonia. My village is tiny and in the middle of nowhere. Hope you and the family are well. 100 miles, you've got plenty of snacks. Yes, I have got plenty of snacks. The kitchen is literally 10 yards behind me. So every hour I am stopping, having a little bite to eat, something to drink, and then getting back onto it. So, first mountain is done. We've got to the top of the climb, and we're just rounding the radio tower now. Running through the snow, and down the other side of the mountain now. So 10 miles done, only 90 miles to go. Tim says, what improvements would you like to see in Zwift running? I would like to be able to be dropped anywhere in Zwift running, be able to choose where I land. When I log in, I can drop myself anywhere, so I can run anywhere. Fundamentals, I would like race results to be correct, because race results, when you do a race, the results are currently not correct. Lots of things really that would be good. Clubs, being able to have your own club shirt. So my local club is Worthing Harriers. I would like to be able to have Worthing Harriers club shirt on and do club runs. I know that functionality is coming in due course. I'd like to see sandbaggers kicked off pretty quickly. And again, I know that's coming. I'd like to be able to finish a run, save the run, but then carry on running. I'd like to have access to the menu from the moment I log into Zwift rather than once I've pressed run. I'd like to have the option to change the route in the middle of the route or change my world in the middle of a run. So if I wanted to stop now and go and run in New York or London, I'd like the option to be able to do that. And you don't have to carry on the run. You could save the run that was on Watopia and then start a new run in New York. I don't mind doing that, but I'd like the option to be able to change my world and my route as well in the middle of a run. Mark Hoy says he suffered with shin splints for a year and he couldn't find the right trainers. Nike are the only ones that seem to work for him. Hokas are too bouncy. Yeah, well, I've run for a long time in Nike Structure 19s. They're Nikes, aren't they? Yeah, Structure 19s. So I ran for a long time in those. Ryan Downey, are you able to pair your watch to the MyRun and set a virtual partner so you know if you're on goal? I suppose I could. Oh, hang on a minute. Make sure I don't go the wrong way. I can do, but I'm quite happy with being able to manage it with just looking at the clock and seeing how far I've done. I should be all right. Ian Matthews says, are you mad? Has lockdown got to you? 100 miles tonight. My missus reckons you must have fallen out with Mrs. C. No, she has gone to bed, but she will be helping me tomorrow. Philip Messenger is still trying to find me. Neil Messenger is still trying to find me. Yeah, it's going to take a bit of time to get club running organised. I mean, I know that most of my club don't have treadmills, but it will happen, I think, eventually. You know, I think we'll get to a stage at one point where we're having regular club meetups, and we could even start to have national and international club events, races on Zwift. You know, but it'll take a little bit of time for the technology to make its way in the right direction to allow that to happen. I.e., we need to make sure everybody's calibrated correctly, so you know nobody complains about results and stuff. Tom White says he's had shin splints for over a year, but they've finally gone. He's started to light jog again. So, when we get to the bottom of this hill, thanks for the ride on, whoever that was.
Ride on!
Balder, thank you, from Penrith. When we get to the bottom of the hill, we're turning left. I just need to keep my eye on it so that I do actually go left. We're following a route called the Uber Pretzel route, which basically takes in almost all of the roads in Watopia. There are just a few missing, which I will do at the end. Mark Boy says, take it easy, listen to your body and legs. Yeah, I will. Oh, there's Neil. Just ahead, just behind me. Andy Bain says, flipping it, well done, mate. After this, if you don't finish the Thames Path 100 this year, I'll kick your butt en route. Yeah, well, Thames Path 100 is my nemesis, really, and it's that makes me a bit worried about this, really, because that's why I'm doing the elevation on here, because I'm kind of worried about the same thing happening on here that happened to me on the Thames Path 100, where I got really bad chafing because I was doing basically the same movement over and over again for 20 hours or so. So that's why I'm doing the elevation climbing on this run, to try and vary the movement. Herbert Crabell, I need to do 6.7 kilometers per hour average to complete the 100 miles in 24 hours. So it's going to be 6.7 kilometers per hour average. So we need to stick the elevation on again now for a little bit. Mark says it's amazing to do 100 miles plus chatting. I can't even do a park run and chat. Well, listen, we're only 10 miles in. I've got 90 miles left to run. So let's see how much chatting I'm doing at 90 miles in, shall we, in 20 hours or so. Right. We are now going left at the top of the climb here. Suppose I should actually put the fan on, perhaps, shall I? Well, that's quite nice. Herbert, I don't think it is unrealistic. You're currently doing the Cross America challenge, aren't you? I think you can do that. So in order to be on track, I need to be about 20 to 21 kilometers at 3 hours. Now, obviously you can see I'm not going to make that. I'm going to be at around 18 and a half kilometers. So I'm already behind, but we can take comfort from the fact that I've just climbed a big hill, a big mountain. So hopefully in the next 3 hours I can make up that time that I lost in the first 3 hours. Marcus Holmes says, do I have neighbours? I wonder what they make of this. Well, I have told, we've got neighbours on that side, and I did tell them that I would be running all night on the treadmill tonight, and they seem to be all right with it. But then again, they didn't really have much choice. I wasn't going to say I won't do it. I've got to keep the doors open because even with the doors open, it is absolutely boiling hot in here. Ollie says, you ultra runners are crazy people. Have a good run, mate. Thanks, Ollie. And Herbert Crabell has already done nearly 100 miles from his first 9 days on his 1,000 kilometer trip across Tennessee. Good luck, Herbert. Doing well, mate. And you can see my heart rate there, look, is 110. Oh, you can't see my heart rate. Hold on. So heart rate there is 108, 107. So most of the run so far has been in zone 1. Zone 1 and zone 2 all the way, hopefully. Maybe we'll get into zone 3 a little bit. Andy Bain says Centurion isn't for 2 weeks. Yeah, this is why I'm not doing it, because I already had this in my brain, and also I'm thinking that lockdown will start to be relaxed a little bit in a couple of weeks' time, and it'll start to feel busier. It'll be more stressful. I kind of thought I just want to get it done now, really. The other thing is the weather, of course, Kyle. It's already starting to get warm, and I'm thinking it will probably be warmer still in 2 or 3 weeks' time. So although Centurion 1 is a nice idea, it was a bit too late for me. So that's 18 kilometers done there. So I need another couple. Well, it's 22:54 here, so only 6 minutes to go before 3 hours is up. So I'll probably get another half a kilometer, just a bit more than half a kilometer in that time. So I can say we're probably around 1.5 kilometers, maybe 2 kilometers behind pace at the moment. But there's no need to panic. We just try and make it up slowly over the next 3 to 6 hours. And then we have got to build in the fact that I do have 2 other climbs to do. But we've got the Alp de Zwift, which is the big main climb. And we're doing that at about 80 miles. Well, 70 something miles into the run. So it's going to be a real hard slog to get up there. Once I'm up there, we'll have 20 miles to go, and I shall be able to try and claw back any lost time again there, if I've still got it in my legs. Tom White, what do you think of the curved treadmill? Well, that Air Power, I mean, they are amazing treadmills, but I think you do have to work harder on them, because obviously there's no power to them, so it's all your own generated power. So I think you do work harder on those than you do outside. Great workout, but I'm not sure I'd want to run on one. Well, I have run on one. I mean, I'm not sure I'd want to own one and run on it all the time. So in 4 minutes' time, we'll put another film on. Herbert's going for a ride on Tempus Fugit, which is the desert course in Watopia. We'll be on that later on this afternoon, later on tomorrow. Brandon Lodge, Zwift run on a manual treadmill, good or bad idea? Depends how fit you are, and depends how much you want to work, Brandon. It'll work. A manual treadmill works as long as you've got a foot pod. That will send your speed into Zwift. Yeah, and it depends how good your manual treadmill is. If it's one of the Air Powers, one of those really snazzy Air Power ones, then it's nice, hard work, but good. But if it's one of those Argos ones for £100 that you just push around with your feet, and you'd have to work double hard on one of those. Just speed it up a little bit. Oh no, Ryan's back. Well, it's nearly time for another film. So, we're going to bring the treadmill to a halt. We'll find a film for you to watch for the next few minutes. I'll go and have a trip to the loo. Right, we'll do the South Downs Way. 12 minutes film, South Downs Way 100 from 2018. And we're at 18.7 kilometres, so we'll just slow down and stop. Just as Neil catches me up. And welcome to Film My Run, third attempt at the South Downs Way 100. Managed it once, failed last year. Let's do it again this year. Look at this bunch of red. First aid station on the South Downs Way 100. Runners are so demanding, aren't they? So this is Old Winchester Hill we're climbing, and we are about a half marathon in to the South Downs Way 100. And 2 minutes into the South Downs Way 100. You might recognise this place. This is Butser Hill, just coming into the Queen Elizabeth Country Park now. 33.5 kilometres. This is honestly one of the most beautiful parts of the South Downs Way. This is Harting Down, about 27-28 miles in to the South Downs Way 100. Absolutely beautiful here. It's taken me 5 hours and 40 minutes to get this far. 6 hours and 7 minutes in, 48 kilometres, so 30 miles or so, just under. And I don't like the hot weather, I'm suffering. Just coming into the Cocking aid station now, just about 35-ish miles. Yeah, I'm still really hot, still really tired. Cocking aid station. Knees fine, gentlemen.
They're trying to keep people going. Tough day.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Keep smiling.
Yeah, thanks for all your hard work. Thanks for being here.
I'm Devon, I'm dying today because the heat is just unbearable. I'd say it's worse than the Thames.
Why are you here then?
I'm doing a slam.
Oh, you're doing all four in the year? What have you done before?
A few, but my favourite's always been the Arc, hence I'll be back again next year.
We're so lucky to run on these gorgeous downs. Much as I am suffering, like so tired and hot and mentally beaten up, even only at 43 miles, I do love it, you know. Yeah, I'll win my way. Thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome.
See you later. Love you. Big hill out of Amberley now. Cheers, guys. So this is Washington aid station, well over halfway. I've got changed, I feel fresher, so I'm on my way now. This is Jen.
Right, well done.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen. See you later. Just coming up to 92 kilometres in 13 hours and 18 minutes. I'm now passing the pigsties on the South Downs Way, heading down to Botolph's, which is the next aid station at 61 miles. So here is Botolph's aid station. Oh, I'd love a cup of coffee, that'd be awesome. So this is Beeding Hill. We've got a big climb now, all the way up to Devil's Dyke. Look, everyone's, well, not everyone actually, but some people are wearing devil's horns because we're at 66.6 miles. 666, you see, it's very clever. And at the bottom of, do you know what? I didn't even think of that. Bottom of Devil's Dyke. We've made it to Housestein Farm. That's 76 or 78, depending on what you think, really. I've just thrown up. That's delightful, isn't it? You all wanted to know that, but it's really helpful. Sometimes after you've thrown up, you feel much, much better. So just 22, 23-ish to go. 20 hours, 24 minutes, 137 kilometres. So we are getting there, and we're just coming into South Ease now, which is 15 miles from home. It's 4:30 in the morning, and it's a beautiful morning, and this is Alfriston, very pretty village of Alfriston, and we're just coming into the second last aid station here in this little village hall. Hiya.
Thank you.
Oh, well done.
Stephen Cousins, here he is. Whoop, 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 whoop. You okay? Last time.
I am so tired. So this is the lovely village hall at Alfriston, and Zoe's been here helping us.
I was at the 10th club. Hey, we volunteered. I've got Sharon, Mark, Liam.
Thank you, guys.
Hi.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, here we are with 8 miles to go now. 8 to 9-ish. Nobody really knows, to be perfectly honest. This is a lovely bridge. And you've got the church over there and the river below. Very pretty village. And it is 22 hours and 42 minutes with 8 miles to go. If you've ever eaten banoffee pie, supposedly this is where it was invented, at the Hungry Monk restaurant, which is now cottages, no longer a restaurant. This is Jevington. I've just passed the final aid station, didn't go in. Let's just get on and finish this race. 23 hours, 48 minutes. Okay, top of the final climb now. That's the trig point there. Jevington's back down there. You've got 3 miles, 2.5 miles to go down there. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
And this is Eastbourne Sports Park, the end of the South Downs Way 100. So we go once around the track, and that's the end. There's the finish line behind, look. Given yesterday's conditions, you know, I'll take that. I will take that. Not the race I planned, no. But you know.
Any finish is a good finish.
Any finish is a good finish.
Yeah.
So that's it from the South Downs Way 100. I've earned that medal today, or that buckle. What was it? 24 hours and 46 minutes? Something like that? I'm shattered. So, thanks for watching. Do subscribe to the Film My Run. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel. All the usual social networks. We'll see you again next time for another Film My Run epic. Take care. Look, there's Nikki.
He's filming. Oh, I thought it was the other way round. I can't actually extract myself from this situation.
No, you're stuck now, aren't you?
I'm just going to do this.
That was Nikki, Centurion Ace, along with James. Anyway, see you again for another Film My Run. Take care, bye-bye.
Andy Bain says, good memories. Dan Mapp says, great work. How many miles are you down? Doing a great job. I am only 12 miles done. 12.5 miles. So still 88 miles to go. Herbert says, am I doing the inclines? Yes, I am, to an extent. So I am averaging out the inclines. I'm not doing every single little bit of elevation that the course gives me, but I'm averaging out the hills. I think by the end it should be around 2,000 to 2,500 meters, something around 2,000 meters of climb, 2,500 at the most. I think Uber Pretzel is supposed to be 2,300 meters climb. something like that. Andy Bain says, I can barely remember the South Downs Way 100 until the last 20 miles. Yeah, it's painful, isn't it? Especially in the heat. I just can't do it in the heat. So hard. It's going to be very interesting if it goes ahead this year to do it in the cold weather. See if we can do it any quicker. So there's 20 kilometers done. So I am behind time. Should have had 20k done 14 minutes ago. But no panic just yet. Not panicking just yet. Yeah, so Ryan Herring says the Uber pretzel is 2,335 metres, but that's taking every single little gradient change into consideration. 2,000 metres would be good going. Yeah, I think we'll settle for 2,000 metres of climb. Fingers crossed we'll get something approaching that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Ryan. So we've done one big mountain. Hopefully that's about 500 meters. Maybe not quite 500, but something around there, approaching that. And yeah, a lot of flat running still to come. So fingers crossed we can claw some time back over the next 3 to 6 hours and see where we are when we get to halfway at 50 miles. I've put it right up to 12%, Ryan. As high as it would go. Because it's like 13 most of the way up there. Tom White says he needs to get on this app. I wish I had a treadmill. They're not cheap for a good one. No, and also they're all sold out at the moment because of lockdown. Everybody's buying treadmills so they can run at home. And I'll definitely do 1,000 meters on the Alpe de Zwift. So that's 1,000 meters for that, 500 meters for the Epic Com. So we need to get another 500 meters in somewhere with the volcano climb and the standard Com and any other bits and bobs. Tom White, yes, you can cycle on the app. The thing is, you just need the equipment. So you would need a bike trainer, a turbo trainer, either a smart one or a dumb one. A dumb turbo trainer, you would need a cadence and speed and cadence sensor on your back wheel to send your speed to Zwift. Neil is going to finish off at 13.1 miles. So he's about 5 minutes behind me. He's done 14 kilometers so far. So, okay, Neil, keep it going, buddy. Thanks for your support. So next for this run is round the jungle route. Herbert's going to try and run with us tomorrow. Thank you, Herbert.
Nice.
Adrienne says 24 hours is crazy. How often do you eat and drink energy gels and bars, etc.? Well, I don't really do energy gels, to be perfectly honest. So banana, I'm stopping every hour for a little break. So I'll be eating sandwiches, drinking milk, coffee. If I need a quick burst of sugar, I'll be drinking Red Bull, something like that. Andy, yes. The relationship between bikers and runners on Zwift has been a comedy one. However, there are a lot of cyclists now coming over to running to try it out. So there is a little bit of mutual respect forming between runners and cyclists, simply because the cyclists are realizing now that actually it's quite cool to be able to run and cycle on Zwift. So there we are, half marathon done. So only another 5 of those to do. No, 7 of those to do. Another 7 half marathons to do. Just under that. Thank you, Neil. Ryan Perring says cyclists are mainly jealous of our track because they've wanted a velodrome for ages and they haven't got one. Sarah Jacobson says she's going to try and run with me in tomorrow morning, Chicago timed. Thank you, Sarah, that'd be nice. If I'm still here, of course, if I haven't failed. Fingers crossed I'm alright. I think if I can make it through the night, if I can survive till like 7 o'clock in the morning, if I can do 12 hours, 11 to 12 hours, and still be alright, hopefully I can make it through the rest of the day with the support of my family around me. Seeing daylight come up will be really nice, I think. But still, an awful long way to go before that. Andy, no, it's not a loop. No, it's a big map. So there's lots of different roads and areas you can go. Yeah, there's lots of different areas you can run in. It's definitely not a loop. You can do left and right turns and go all over the place. Tom White says, what's the subscription fee? Well, for running, completely free at the moment, and has been for a couple of years. And there's no indication as yet that they are going to start charging a subscription fee for running. Cycling is £12 a month, but running is free. Let's just make sure that we go the right way here. So here, look, you can see on the bottom of the screen there, we can either go to the Italian villas, that'd be a right turn, or we can carry straight on and go into the jungle. We're not going to the Alp, which is the big, huge climb. We're going to do that later. The green wall in front of us is a barrier for people who are not on the correct level. So you need to be, I think it's level 6 at the moment, to be able to get into the jungle. You're not level 6. The only way to get into the jungle is by joining a group event that is going into the jungle. So for a solo run, this barrier here would stop you going through if you're not on the right level. Marcus, not entirely. So I'm following the Uber Pretzel route for the first 80 miles. Because, well, the Uber Pretzel is an 80-mile route. So we'll do that for 80 miles and then I'll finish off with whatever needs to be finished off. So that'll be Titan's Grove needs to be done, including Repack Ridge, and I'll need to do the beach path as well, and the track, of course. Hi Lucio. Lucio just did the 5k ZRS. Nice one, buddy. So still keeping it steady in zone 1. Heart rate is 160 BPM. Don't really want to push it too hard. Still very, very early stages. 140 kilometers, 140 kilometers still to do. Yeah, I was thinking that, Marcus, finish on the track. If I can, that's what I'll do, yeah. Yes, Lucio, 100 miles, not long in, 3.5 hours in, a 24-hour run, so I've got another 20 and a half hours left to run. Paul Carter says, "Ride on, Mr. C, well done, thank you."
Nice.
Thank you.
That's true, there is a spawn point in the jungle. However, if anybody does want to run with me, they can just click on my name and click run with Stephen. Just a little hill here, 3% climb, so I've got 3% on the treadmill. Hi Karen. Oh, are you injured at the moment? No, I think leave the verified ticks to the real athletes. Honestly, Ryan, I would feel a total fraud if I had a verified tick next to my name. Oh, waiting for the treadmill to be fixed. Oh, okay. Rubbish. That's no fun. Is it that? I thought a tick meant you were a pro. No? Right, back down to 0. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know. Tom White says, what's your fastest marathon? My PB is from the London Marathon in 2016 and it's 3:09:37? 3:09:30 something. I still like to think I have a sub 3 in me somewhere. If I trained for it and if I had the perfect day. I'd like to think I could get a sub 3, but time is running out. I'm not getting any younger.